Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time, you are welcome. If you are my old subscriber, I really appreciate you. You are the best. In today's video, we are going to learn how to make this free or Bubu blouse, and it has a side gathers, right? So we are going to make it from start to finish. If this sounds interesting, like something you're interested in washing, keep on washing. By the way, my name is Grace.
Guys, at this point I've already folded my material. This material is on fold. I did it off camera and I marked the starting point, the length of this dress plus 1 inch for sewing allowance. I also at the end I had extra 3 inch. This 3 inch is for the drawstring. If you check the style very well, you can see that the side has the gathers or the drawstring at the side. So that is the reason why we add this 3 inch. I'm also marking a bust point, which is 10 inch, and I connect that point. I'm inputting a shoulder measurement, which is 7.5. So at this a bust line, I'm inputting quarter of a bust circumference plus 1 inch for ease and 1.5 inch for sewing allowance. Sorry guys, I've already input a chest line off camera. Our chest line is 8.5, so I input it. I also input a shoulder measurement at this chest line. That's why I have that straight line there. I connect it to the shoulder line. After that, I curve it. For the width of the neckline, I use 3 inch, and for the depth of the neckline, I use 3 inch. So I'm simply using 3 by 3, and I'm also inputting quarter over hip circumference plus 1 inch for ease and 1.5 inch for sewing allowance. So after that, I'm sloping my shoulder by 1 inch. You can see me marking 1 inch like this, though I did not connect it, but I actually slope it down. So I've already cut it out off camera to save our time. And also guys, at the end of this dress, you can see that I curve it. I've already done that in so many of my videos on this channel, please. So if you're a total beginner, simply go up, measure at the side seam. Okay, at the side seam, not the center. Simply go up by 2 inch and curve your blouse. You don't want the edge of your blouse to be too sharp. That is exactly what I did there. Okay, so I'm placing another material on fold. I'm using this bag as a pattern to get another piece. Okay, initially guys, I opted for a very high neck, and because of that high neck, I tell myself I'm going to be working with the same neckline. Okay, so which I've later corrected it, and I'm still going to show you why I changed my mind, because I don't want my client to be struggle while wearing this dress, or to her head not to pass through. You know, us women, sometimes we make our hair, and when we make hair, our head is becoming big or bigger than. So I changed my mind. I'm cutting the facing now. After stressing the neckline and the shoulder line, I raise the material up and cut out. From that neckline, I cut 3.5, can cut 3 to 4 inch away. And when I place it like this, guys, we have a very clean work, which I've already used it to turn our neckline. Okay, I've used it to turn the neckline. Like I said earlier, initially I opted for the front and the back to be the same thing, so I'm going to correct it later. I will still show you what I will do. So this is how I'm going to stitch down my shoulder. So before I stitch the shoulder, I stitch down my side by 1.5 inch. Remember, we added 1.5 inch. In case you are working with a material that flame like Ankara, please, At this side seam, fold in the edge and stitch it down. But because this material does not flame and it actually give me tough time to sew, which I use paper to stitch it down. I've already cut out my rope, which is bias. I've also, this is how I fold the edge of the bias and stitch it down, and that is what I did. So we are about to correct that part. So for this part, I'm marking it to serve as the back piece. I want to have the back to be to have a slit at the center back. So you can see the way I fold my material so that that slit will be at the center back. My client actually opted for a very high neck at the front, so I want the slit to be at the back. All right. So after that, it will warrant us to cut another facing, which I'm doing it right now. I stress out the neckline and the shoulder line. I stress out the shoulder line and the neckline. So I'm also slitting. For the slit, I make use of 4 inch, and also at this facing, I'm also slitting by 4 inch. From this slitting area, I'm marking 3.5 inch, and I'm going to cut it out. I'm going to cuff my hand. If you're a total beginner, you can mark 3.5 inch all round and cut it out. So after cutting, this is how our facing look like. I've also cut a tiny rope of that bias, and I'm going to use it as a button holder. Let me show you how it is. So this is how it is. Please guys, if you are placing it on your material and you want to stitch it down, ensure that this side that is going to hold the button is inward. Okay. So that when you stitch it down and flip it to the right side, you have something looking like this. This is the back piece. It's looking very beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to attach my button off camera. Okay, and moving on, we are about to stitch the shoulder now. So I've stitched down the shoulder and I flip it to the right side. So when we flip it to the right side, look at what we have. Guys, before you attach your shoulder, ensure that you stitch down the side, the two side seam, before you join your shoulder. It's very important. Okay, for this style, ensure that you join the side seam, two side seam, before you join your shoulder. So we are now to input our rope now. For the rope, I make sure that this my cutting does not affect the front piece. Okay, I'm actually cutting on that side seam that we stitched down, that drawstring or that channel. I'm cutting on that channel, and the cutting does not affect my front piece. So at this armhole side, from the armhole, I'm inputting the rope down, and it will come out at the waist line, that cutting that we make. So I'm going to repeat it like that for the rest of the three area, and after that I'm going to be back to show you how it look like. Right. So while cutting, please do not allow the cutting to affect the front piece. You don't want your work to look very rough. And guys, before I input this rope, I've already hemmed the down of this blouse. Aim it face before you do this process. Okay, aim it before you input your rope. All right, so we are now to work on the armhole. For this armhole, I'm going to make a random or a freehand cutting on my sleeve, because guys, this is the material that is left, and my client opted for a 3/4 sleeve. You can see me sprinkling water there. this material is very slippery. Without me spraying water like this, it will not hold the chalk. So I've marked my starting line for the sleeve. For the my sleeve cap height, I decided to come down by 3 inch because this material also is very slippery and very stretchy. So I mark her armhole circumference. I mark quarter of her armhole circumference plus 1 inch for stitching allowance. Okay, and I'm also going to input 1 inch for ease. Remember, at the body of this dress we added ease allowance. Okay, so what I'm doing up here, I'm trying to make sure that no allowance is left in this on this sleeve, or I don't want to waste any of this material because the sleeve is even shorter by 1 inch. All right, so I'm connecting it now like this to the edge of it, and I'm simply cutting it out. So after cutting, guys, I'm trying to trim any sharp area. Again, I use a freehand method. If you don't know how to cut a basic sleeve, please, I already have a video on this channel on how to go about it. Do check it out. So after that, I'm going to fold the hem like this by 1/2 inch and stitch it down. And I will fold the side like this and also stitch it down. Now after stitching, look at what we have. I actually stitched by 1/2 inch. You can see it. For the side, I also stitch it down by 1/2 inch. You might ask, why am I stitching by 1/2 inch? Remember, we add 1 inch for hemming allowance, and for the joints we actually added ease allowance, so I'm trying to make it equal. Okay, and for the joints I'm trimming off 0.5 inch only at the front piece, not the back. Okay, so that the front of our armhole will be a little bit in than the front by 1/2 inch. So after that, I'm going to stitch down my sleeve, and when I stitch down my sleeve, I'm going to put it on the mannequin for you to see the final look. But before I did that, I flipped my work to the wrong side. I put in my sleeve in the way that the right side of my sleeve is touching, the right side of my sleeve is facing the right side of the blouse. All right, so right side facing each other. I'm simply pin it face. I try to pin it face to see that the armhole is accurate, and when I get exactly what I want, I stitch it down. Yeah, I stitch it down. And after stitching it down, guys, look at what we have. It's looking beautiful. Sorry guys, I did not remember to take or to film the back side of this blouse, guys, but believe me, after inputting the button, it came out very beautiful. I actually like the outcome of this dress, and my client like it too. This is the trouser part of it. If you haven't watched how I make this trouser part of it, please check it out. I will be dropping a link in this video. Check the description to watch the trouser part of it. See you all in my next video. Bye.